right, this is Mr. Dominic Farrar. Coach, obviously we're doing a feature on Richie Munoz, who transferred over from LaSalle, but your entire team is having an amazing 2022 start, 5-0. Your offense is on fire. Can you briefly talk about why the offense is having so much success so far?
I think has a direct reflection of the time and energy that they've continually invested in the product. But I think within the product there's a brand. I think that obviously that's a testament to traditionally, inherently, what Charter Oak's offense has always represented and stood for. And then when you've got somebody like Brian Tabatabai that we've brought in as the offensive coordinator, we've got Joe Shermer, that's our offensive line coach. We've got Aaron Bonds and AJ Powell that continue to coach our receivers and our running backs with Drew Arguez, Zach Nicolai. I mean, I can go right down the line. We've got men of service, men of a standard, but I think how we're playing the game is we're playing the game intellectually as well as we're playing the game emotionally, and we've really worked hard this year on execution football and situational football, and not just teaching the how, but the why, and so you see our kids strategically thinking, extending their thinking in terms of they perform at a high level, but that's because we continue to be demanding and we continue to strive for perfection, and they want to be great, they want to be the best, and I can never complain anybody's work ethic from top to bottom. Structure, discipline, organization, preparation. We spend so much time doing this, and it's taxing. But that's a testament to the families, to the wives, and so forth. We really, actually, what we are is we don't try to tell too many people, but when we're together, we're working hard, but we're playing hard. We're having fun.
Okay. So obviously you have a ton of playmakers, but to nail it, to focus more on Richie just for this story in particular, how do you feel like he came in? How did he handle his transfer coming in, and how quickly did the guys take to him? How much has he exceeded your expectations?
He's been a blessing, truly, and his charisma and his moxie. He's a humble servant. And his strength, of character, his moral courage. He's first and foremost, he's just a phenomenal young man. And then when you factor in those tangibles with those intangibles, as far as depth of knowledge of the game as he continues to expand his football IQ. When you look at his skill set, his talent, his arm strength, his accuracy, his decision making, really he and we've really been honing in on his leadership. He's a work in progress, but since he came here, he hit the ground running, and is no kept secret on the pedigree that he came in with. And he continues to build on that, and that's what we're doing, is we're building a champion.
I think what's cool about watching him over the last 4 years, and again, like I said, I covered him at LaSalle the first 3 years, and then I've seen you guys play. He doesn't necessarily look the part. He's not the leanest guy. He's not the tallest guy. He's not 6'4". He's not. But he does it. He does everything the right way. He's smart. He's got a strong arm. He's got great instincts, which, like you said, you can't touch. Has he exceeded expectations on the field?
There's a reason why he's wearing number 2. Our kids wear traditional numbers.
Okay.
And so you'll see alumni that'll come back and they'll know who's wearing their number. No one's entitled to anything. Everything's a privilege. He was bestowed the honor of wearing number 2. Which
signifies?
Travis Santiago.
Okay.
I think Richie, we've always talked about, ain't the size of the dog, right? It's the heart of the dog, or the fight of the dog, and and you can't measure his toughness. You can't measure his heart, his competitive spirit, his will to win. He's a winner naturally. But the other part too is when we're sitting in the classroom, whether we're at break or at lunch, if we're sitting in the classroom when he's sitting in my psychology class, or we're going through X's and O's, and we're on the whiteboard, or we're watching film. The kid's a competitor at everything.
Okay.
He doesn't want to lose at Uno. He doesn't want to lose at checkers, and so he's got some innate characteristics and persona where I think he's always just felt like the underdog. And when you feel like the underdog, you have that kind of chip on his shoulder, and so he's emotionally attached to this game. But it's also too because he plays for his family. He's a faith-based young man, and he knows what this game can do as a means and providing not only for him but his family. And, it's just they're wonderful people.
Okay.
They've been a joy.
So I'm saying this mostly sarcastically, but I'm going to try for a third time. Has Richie Munoz's on the skilled production exceeded your expectations?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. And I think
Which is this obviously a good thing then. You had huge expectations.
because to be honest with you, I think he would want me to say that.
Okay.
Because he continues to hone in on his craft and refine and perfect. We're smoothing out the edges. He hasn't played his best game yet.
Is there anything in particular that you've, like you said, honed in on? Is there something you've most wanted him to improve on that he has?
He said it. I heard him say it in his interview tonight with you for the first time. Take what the defense gives.
Okay.
Sometimes
That's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Well, sometimes I used to tease him because his arm is just explosive. It is very unique in terms of what he can do with that hip and so forth. But sometimes I used to tease him and say, "Hey, you play quarterback like you're a relief pitcher. I need you to play like you're the number one starter." And so if you look at his body of work since he's been here and his repertoire, he's really become poised. He's really become kind of savvy.
Is his football IQ as impressive as his in-class, GPA?
What he is he's a learner.
Okay.
And he has a work ethic. He's a consumer. Like he will literally.
He wants to learn.
The conversations we have are about football,
Okay.
are about life, are about relationships. But there's an ambition and a drive in him that he's hungry as much as he's humble, and you can't fake that. And you feel that through the course of the game. I've always said eyes never lie.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look into Richie's eyes and when we talk, I mean, we're making eye contact, and I know how much this means to him and how important this is to him. But again, I think he expresses his gratitude and his love through his performance.
In your mind, if you had to narrow it down to one thing, what's his most impressive trait?
His most impressive trait, just one?
Yes, if you had to narrow it down to one. The one that impresses you the most.
Would be...
Could be anything you want, yeah.
Anything. Well, naturally, I mean, instinctively, first word that came to mind was his character.
Yeah.
But you have to spend time with him.
To fully get it?
To get it, yeah, because he's contagious, right? You gravitate to him. He's probably not going to like that I say this, but he's a gentle giant. What I think I'm most proud of is the person that you see underneath the helmet is the same person that you see on the sideline, the same person you see in the classroom or out in the community. He's just a quality young man, an extraordinary human being, but he's got those extraordinary characteristics about him that he's wired different.
Can he and will he succeed at the next level?
Absolutely.
Okay. Last thing, you're talking to Richard and Nancy Munoz about their son. Not that they don't know this, but what would you most want them to know about so far the time you've had with their son?
I think they would be most proud of how he continues to honor and serve their expectation, and he continues to embrace this and celebrate the morals that they've instilled in him, and being a faith-based young man, and just being a family person. You never hear him use the pronoun I or me in his conversations. He's always talking about we, and it is just this day and age. I don't know. He's just selfless instead of selfish, and he gets more excited to watch his teammates make plays than he even does himself.
Okay.